Hello, everybody. We are Group 17 and we are giving our presentation over the topic Can wars ever be justified? Let us discuss what a war is. A war is an armed conflict that usually happens between two states, nations, or governments, which usually accompanies extreme destruction and mortality. A war cannot be reasoned with just a single cause, but usually it is assumed to be happen due to a bargain failure between the two parties. If two parties are assumed to be irrational, then they are expected to have already anticipated with the extreme loss that they are going to face in a war. Now let's discuss some potential reasons that can cause wars. Economic gain, territorial gain, religion, revenge, and defense. They are quite self-explanatory in their terms. Now let's discuss the main section of this presentation, the philosophy of war. Philosophy of war is a field in philosophy that tries to understand and analyze wars. It tries to find the causes of war, let it be irrational or irrational. It tries to find a correlation between innate human natures and wars. It tries to study ethics of wars and try to bind morality in wars so as to bring some human nature in the wars.
Hi everyone, I am Ayush Kumar Singh and I am going to talk about the need for the discussion on wars. Wars have been known to bring destruction and glory since time immemorial. It causes great loss of life as well as property to all the involved nations. So, one needs to properly analyze the consequences before even thinking of waging a war. Taking the examples of both the world wars as well as the Congo wars, which have been by far the most destructive ones, involving over millions of casualties and the economic depression. Next slide, please. Now, talking about the consequences of war, war mainly affects the people of the country in every possible way. Thousands of human lives are lost, their houses destroyed, and scarcity of food due to the increasing prices of daily goods because of the costs of wars. It even leaves a dent on the education and medical system as well as the progress of the country is hampered. Next slide, please. Now, coming over to the morality of wars, a nation always needs to be attentive towards other nation activities. Even if one does not want wars, it is forced upon them so as to protect their country, their people, and its integrity. Hence, it is required to bind some morality in the wars by the international organizations to make it fair and less inhumane. One such theory is the just war theory. Next.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayush Azad and I'm going to discuss the just war theory. The just war theory is a doctrine also referred to as tradition of military ethics, which is studied by military leaders, theologians, and policy makers. The purpose of the doctrine is to ensure that a war is morally justifiable through a series of criteria, all of which must be met for a war to be considered just. Saint Augustine was a principal advocate of the just war theory, and I will be discussing some conditions of following slides. Next slides. Just war theory provides a useful framework for individuals and political groups to use their discussion of possible wars. The theory is not intended to justify wars, but to prevent them by showing that going to war, except in certain limited circumstances, is wrong, and thus motivate states to find other ways of resolving conflicts. Next slide. Every armed conflict is viewed by different groups in different ways. Like pacifists say that war is commonly an immoral activity, and any situation of war must not be allowed. And realists say that war is a human activity where we cannot apply morality. Everything is fair in war. For war, morality is irrelevant. There can be also a middle ground between two, which is the just war tradition, which says that war is reality, and in international relations there can be war by putting restrictions of morality. Next slide. Well, just war theory can be divided in different groups as well, and it provides the moral conditions governing both resort to war and its subsequent conduct. Like I said earlier, there's one part which is just ad bellum, which is right to war, and there's also justice in war, which is just in bello. And I'm going to describe those in the next slide. Well, the very first story is just ad bellum, a code that specifies that conditions for morality is legitimate to warfare, and I will be describing its types like competent authority, just cause, last resort, probability of success, proportionality, and right intentions in the next slide. Next slide. Well, just cause. War is permissible only to confer real and certain in danger. So a country should only go in a war if the cause for going to war is legitimate. Next slide. A war must be fought for right intentions. Motives for responding to the cause must be just, and they must be in line with the just cause. And any country must not go for a war for revenge, political expansion, and land acquisition. Next slide. Proper authority and public declarations. Only nations have authority to declare war. War must be declared by those with responsibility for public order. Like the president of country, it can declare a war on country B, and United Nations has also authority to declare or war on another country if it is found to a threat as to the international community. The fourth one is proportionality, and a country must be confident that resorting to war will do more good than harm. Next slide. Last resort. All peaceful alternatives must have been exhausted and explored. Then only a country should go for a war. And the sixth point is probability of success. A country should only go for a war if it has reasonable grounds for believing that the causes can be achieved. Otherwise, there is no point in sending the troops to the war if you're going to lose a war, as war is a great evil and it will cause sufferings and a lot of restrictions to life. Next slide.
So, hello everyone. As we can see from the previous discussion, that wars causes a huge destruction to human lives as well as to the property. So, for the controlled way of that, some humanitarian law was made for the betterment of the innocent people. So, the goals of the human rights and humanitarian law are the same. Both of them are designed to restrict the power of the state authorities with a view of safeguarding the fundamental rights of the individual. Just the basic difference in both of them is that humanitarian law is applicable when there is an armed conflict between two states, and human rights is applicable in both the cases where the fight is between interstates or interstate, in between the states. Next slide, please. In regard to these humanitarian laws only, there has been a theory, jus in bello, which has been approved by the United Nations and has to be followed by both the states during an armed conflict. Some of these points are: weapons prohibited by international law must not be used, armed forces must use proportional forces, no weapons or means of war that are evil in themselves are permitted. Next slide. In regard to this only, a new theory has been in discussion with the experts just post bellum. The purpose of this theory is to restore peace and arrive at the most effective way of doing this in a controlled manner. This theory will change the after-war results, as after the war also there has been a lot of destruction to the property as well as to the lives that leaves its results after to the many years. Some of the principles which are in discussion right now are distinguishing punishment, public agreement and proclamation, giving the country and its inhabitant the opportunity to reform. Over to you, Yash.
So after discussing various principles involved in the just war theory, let's take a look at the criticism faced by it. Ethically, all wars are supposed to be unjust and believe that no theory can justify them. The just war theory is very unrealistic, and a lot of realists also believe that there cannot be any morality in wars. The existence of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons also contradict the just war theory because of their mass destruction and civilians killing. The existence of terrorist organization in the world also provide a threat to the theory, because with the help of this theory we cannot explain the activity of these organizations. Now let's take a look at the ideologies that are against the morality of wars. Realism. Realism is an ethical category in the philosophy of war, which believes that the idea of moral and ethics cannot be applied to the real world, and the main purpose of war is just to achieve the national interest. Pacifism. It is a principle that strictly opposes the conduction of war or any adoption of violent methods. It tries to say that any agreement should be made in a peaceful manner. Now, let's take a look at one of the pacifist approach, which is Gandhian ideology. There's a very famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which says that at any cost, he won't be prepared to take any life, but he will be prepared to give his own life. Gandhian ideology constitutes of very prominent element, which is ahimsa, which is also same as that of pacifist ideology. It says that war should be avoided at any cost and any agreement should be made in a peaceful manner.
Okay, so I would like to talk on the topic with respect to utilitarian approach. With respect to war, there exist two notions. The first one opposes war by saying that, well, since war causes more harm to civilians than allies, which are less in number than civilians, so we would choose not to fight. The second one, on the other hand, supports war by saying that a country ruled by a dominant dictator wants war so as to free themselves from suffering, so they would prefer war. So, is utilitarianism theory ineffective in solving our problem? The answer to this question is no. While talking about utilitarianism, we should talk about achieving long-term goals rather than short-term goals. So we can wage a war if no other action is possible and if it is not affecting our future generation. So this is the end of our discussion. On a closing note, I would like to say that after discussing a lot of consequences, morality, philosophy, and various theories on war, our group has arrived at an opinion that war is undesirable, though in some conditions we may need to resort to waging war if lives of civilians are being saved by it. Thank you.